Hello everyone, this is Catherine, and today we are doing some mosaic artwork. So in your kit, what you would have received is a little bottle or a bigger bottle of glue, a little bottle or a bigger bottle of grout, tiles. Today we are working with one tile coaster, so that's what I will be referencing to. If you have more than one coaster or a larger coaster, you will be following the same exact steps. Aside from those items, you also received your gloves, 2 popsicle sticks, and a sponge. We will be getting into that a little later, but for right now, we're just focused in on the ceramic tiles, and of course, your pre-cut tiles. So the tiles that we're actually working with today are branded for Google. So if you do see certain colors that look very familiar to your company, we just wanted to kind of work with something that could really resonate to your company. Also, not everyone received Google colors. Some of you may have received like an assorted mix. That may have a variety of colors, which kind of allows you to kind of get really creative here. But most importantly, right now we are escaping work and our work environment. I'm not adding on my gloves until we're saving the gloves for the grout part. For right now, we are really just focused in on popsicle stick that we're taking out of this bag, our glue, and our tile. So you could either, in your workspace, you could either choose to kind of separate and organize your tiles first so you can kind of see your inventory. It's typically about eight colored tiles. All of them have already been pre-cut for you. There. So now I kind of did an inventory of what I have. Okay, so here's my tile, here's what I have. Now, glue is going to be our top first thing that we're going to be working with, and one popsicle stick. Actually, let's take them both out. We do really need both of them. So, okay, we're going to open up our little glue right here. Put it up, have it handy. One popsicle stick is going to be utilized as the measuring kind of, we use the end of like this tip right here as like measuring, right? And this one is going to be for actual applying the glue onto your tile. So the very first thing that we're going to do is choose whatever color that you want to. We're gonna go around the edges first. Think of like mosaic tiles as like playing Tetris or Candy Crush, right? So we want to cover up the edges and then work inside. So for example, I'm going to grab my popsicle stick. I'm going to grab some glue. Let's see, I'm just going to pick color blue, glue for blue. And then, so the tiles have 2 different ends. Either you have, there's the front side, which is the shiny side, and then the rigged side. The rigged side is the side that goes down onto the glue. You could choose to do it the reverse, but for aesthetic purposes, I feel that it looks aesthetically better if it's the shinier part is facing you, and then the rigid part is where you apply the glue. So as you see, I just grabbed a bit of glue, applying it to the end, and very importantly that you want to make sure that it aligns along the edges, right? You don't want to have a tile, you don't want your tile to stick out like this. You see how it's not aligned. Aesthetically, it will not look good once you go to grout. So you want to make sure that, especially around the edges, that it's aligned. So I go in, make sure that it's perfectly aligned. So you can see there. And then I'm going to go in and continue to add. So for example, I am now moving on to my secondary color. So you want to allow distance between your grout. Here's the reason why, because when we go to apply our grout, we want to have, we don't want it to be too close to each other so that when the grout goes in, you can actually see the separation between the tiles and the actual, the secondary color, right? So for example, I might do white now, right? So I'm going to go in, I placed my little popsicle stick right along the middle of it. And then I know that this is the space that I need. See right there? So I apply some glue. Let me add it back because I kind of need it again. There you go. That's a good separation. There. And then you could go in and continue to utilize all the tiles to fill in your coaster. Let's say you want to get creative and you could get like a marker. Let's say you wanted to initial. You could write on whatever you like on here and kind of follow it around if it helps you kind of create that design that you're looking for. You could write on this. Guess what? As you see, as I'm adding in the tiles, you could go in and your outline is going to go away. So definitely feel free to go in and, you know, draw on your tile if that helps you with your creative process. That's totally fine. Remember, it's art, so do not get hung up on the small stuff. Going back and adding in I like to add in my corners first. Again, I'm just freehanding this, coming up with the design as I talk on this video. And over time, your eye just gets used to the distance, so you might not even need your little ruler. I'm gonna go in and continue to fill in wherever you wish, wherever you feel is appropriate for you to add in your tiles. This project is meant to be relaxing. You're escaping the work environment. You should not feel stressed out about this whatsoever. So when you have those moments of you need to escape, just look back at your coaster and it will remind you of when you're relaxed. You might see I might be jumping around. A few questions that may come up is the glue. Is it going to stay white? No, it will dry clear. So it will definitely start to go away as it dries up. Can you remove a tile after it's been applied and dried? Very hard. Very hard. This is not, it looks white and it looks like Elmer's glue, but it doesn't act like it. This is more of like a commercialized glue. You could also see I have glue in my fingers. Don't worry, the glue does come off of your fingers. It will not get stuck to your fingers. Glue does come off. So, and it actually kind of, if you were to rub your fingers, the glue will actually start to peel off. So it's not like crazy glue that if you get any glue that on your hand that your hands are gonna glue tight. Now you'll be fine. Just continuing to go around. Let's see. I'm just continuing to go around with my design. You continue to go in and continue to fill in any gaps. Around your tile. And the goal is to really use up the tiles that came with the kit. Some might get a little tricky where you want to fit in some, like for example, this one right here, I'm just sliding it down a bit. The glue isn't fully dry. Had the glue been fully dry, then I wouldn't have been able to move it around just slightly. So I just moved it down so I could fit this one tile to remove the gaps that are visible right now. And that's where Tetris playing comes in, because now you're just really trying to fit in the tiles. And by now you may also see that I'm really not using my little ruler. My eye just got used to it already. I'm going in and just filling in. Like this one I can move down a bit. It's too big. Maybe I'll switch that one out. It's tricky because I do not want the edges to stick out. As you can see, I'm still trying to stay aligned along the edges. We don't want the tile to stick out. And you're just adding along the way. Part gets kind of fun when you start to kind of use up your tiles and you're just trying to find areas where they could fit. Okay. I think I've gotten to a point where I can no longer add more pieces because I ran out of space on my tiles. I do have several tiles that are left over, and that's totally okay. There we go. The next step is we're going to start to grout. Before doing so, we want to make sure that the glue is fully dry. So we are allowing some time for the glue to fully dry, because if not, then the if the glue isn't fully dry, then as you add in the grout from the movement of moving around the grout, it may end up shifting your grout pieces off, and that's just not fun when that happens. So I'm just going to go ahead and start setting up my grout. Hi everyone, and we're back. So right now we are going to get ready to start to grout. So I'm just putting on my gloves. We just want to make sure that our space is clear. I did get some water as well, so that we could start to apply some water onto our sponge when we start to add in the grout. But we want to make sure that if you're in an area where there's carpet, be very careful if any grout falls on the floor. Grout will dissolve. It's like sandy, so it will dissolve and reactivate in water. It can take up to 5 days for it to fully set. So I would hold on once you grout on applying any cups or any pressure onto your Mosaic coaster, just to make sure that it fully dries. So here is our tile so far from it being dry. We want to make sure that there's really not any like white gluish marks. By this time, your white gluish marks should be fully dry. Grout, we're going to open it up. We're going to grab some grout. The ball formation, this part is super fun. I find it super relaxing too. So you're going to grab some grout, apply it right on top. Right, and then you're going to start to like rub the grout in. So as it's rubbing in, you're seeing that it's pretty much covering up your whole tile. Now, you don't want it to be fully wet. You should be kind of massaging in the grout so that it's filling in the empty spaces. So as you're filling in the front part of it, if you need to get more grout, you can. There's no right or wrong way. And then aside from placing the grout right in front, you're going to start to grab some grout and place it along the edges. And you're going to go around the other side on the other edges. Right, you want to make sure that everything is pretty much covered up. We're filling in the sides from the edges so that you could see the grout. You don't want to end up with like a very bare edge. You want to have a nice finish. So continue to grab as much grout as you need to fill in. And fully kind of massage that in. And then any excess, because if you did grab like a bigger bowl like I did, you could just kind of just start to smooth it out with your hand. Let's see. All right. You're gonna grab your sponge, hydrate your sponge, place it in water. All right. And we're gonna be using the yellow part of our sponge. Okay. Yellow part. And we're going to start to smear. As you can see, you're going to see water drops, and that's a good thing, right? We just want to start to remove a coat off of it. So here, I'm just going to put it right in there. I did a rinse through, go back. Now you can start to see your tiles, because before it was like just white tiles. Now you're going to start to kind of rub off, go around your edges. And we're going around your edges. The goal is to see more of the coloration in your tile, like so. So as we go into, we remove like the front layer, we're gonna get our paper towel. I'm just gonna gently wet it and start to, with like paper towel, just gently clean off the tile marks to make sure to polish it. Just be very careful you do not go into the bottom piece, like the actual grout marks. So as you can see, I'm just kind of focused. I'm going in and also wetting my paper towel And then you're going to do this for the rest of your um, tile just to kind of clean it off, remove any watermarks. Ta-da! And my coaster is finalized. Thanks again.